Haiti borders with the Dominican.
Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry
Yes.
weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them, except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma is so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti, and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a one-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running. 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada, and Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who, without Mrs. B, might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
This is the reason why I do what I do, is because of Yolanda and all the...
Good morning. Bonjour. Comment ça va? Ni hao. Hola. Ohio. Bienvenue. Wan Ying. Bienvenido. And welcome. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jim Hunter Stories. My name is Barry B. Mixon, and I am a gemological storyteller. And each and every week, I get the incredible privilege and honor of coming into your home and taking you on a journey to places you've never been before, to stories you've never heard before. Each week, I get the magnificent opportunity to take you on a mental, physical, and spiritual adventure into the art, science, history, and magic of gemstones, precious metals, and fine jewelry. And because I understand the power of stories, I know that somewhere along the line, you're going to hear a story that will move you, that will make you see the world in a different way. Each and every week, my goal is to create a sound that resonates with you. That sounds something that you can put together in your heart and your mind and your spirit and use it as a bridge, as a template, as an inception point to help you discover the value of your own stories, of who you are. And not only who you are, but the people around you. Value is one of those terms that people use all the time. It's just 5 letters, value. But it means so much more than that. Value is the kind of word like mom is. When you say mom, no matter where you are in the world, when you say mom, it has a meaning. It has a deeper meaning far beyond just those 3 letters, M-O-N, mom. It means someone who has raised you, someone who has supported you, someone who has guided you along the way. So when you hear mom, you stop for a second. You go, okay, this is something important. When you say sapphire, this is a sapphire. It's a gemstone. This is what a sapphire looks like when it's, as I told you many, many times before, a sapphire is basically aluminum oxide. That's it. 2 highly abundant elements. As I told you last week, oxygen is the most common element on the planet. And aluminum is the most abundant metal on the planet. But this is what aluminum oxide looks like. This is aluminum oxide. Nothing that you would wear on your finger or your neck. This is aluminum oxide. But when you add something, remember a few weeks ago, I told you that there's 2 different types of gemstones. There are gemstones that are idiochromatic, which means that the structure, within the structure itself, you have what you need in it. And then you also have gemstones that are allochromatic. Allochromatic, which means that it has, excuse me one second. Okay. Allochromatic means that it has something is added to it. So this is aluminum oxide by itself. But when you add something to it, you get a sapphire. You get a different color. When you add iron and titanium to that structure, to that basic structure, when you add that element to it, iron and titanium, you get a whole rainbow of colors. You get red and, I'm sorry, not red because when it's red, it's a ruby. But you get black, white, violet, green, orange, purple, yellow, and of course, blue. And when you understand what a sapphire is a representation of something. When you have a sapphire, it means something. When you see it, you already understand that this stone has value. Whether you own one or not, you understand, you look at this stone and you say, yeah, this means something. This costs a lot of money. That's what this is. A sapphire. Everyone knows this ring. This is Princess Di's engagement ring. Princess Di took a diamond and sapphire ring and made it world famous. So when you see this ring, you understand the value of that ring. You may not have the money to pay for it. You may not never even actually seen it up close, but the moment that you see it, you understand that it has value. This ring, also an engagement ring, world famous, world famous. This is the engagement ring that Napoleon the First gave his wife, Josephine, before they got married. This is their engagement. This is the engagement ring that he gave to her. It is called the Toi et Moi. Toi, me to you. Me and you. It is a sapphire and diamond ring. And even though when he gave it to him, he was not an emperor as of yet. He was just moving up in the ranks. So this was an extremely extravagant ring that he was a general, he was a general officer by that point in time. But he wasn't making lots of money. He wasn't rich, but he wanted to give a symbol. In his mind, he knew where he wanted to go. So he wanted his future wife, the woman that he loved, the woman that he wrote hundreds of love letters to. He wanted that woman to understand who his feelings for her. What did it mean to be, for him to love her? He used the sapphire as that representation. See, sapphires, what people don't understand is that a sapphire, when you see it, a sapphire is not just a gemstone. A sapphire is a gemstone of power. Sapphires was the gemstone, is still the gemstone of royalty. As my good and active viewer, Rascani, from right here in Chicago, Rascani sent me and reminded me yesterday of how many kings and queens, especially kings, would use sapphires as a representation of their power, of their worth. In antiquity, a sapphire was a mind-clearing stone. A sapphire, if you wore a sapphire, that meant there was organization, structure. That you were able, with this gemstone, that you were able to begin to process not only your own mind, but the thoughts of the people around you. So kings would wear sapphires. They would wear rings and earrings and have their clothes embroidered. The gemstones would be embroidered in their clothes. And we're going to do a whole show about that because they wanted the power. They knew what it meant, and they knew that everybody who came to their court would understand that power just because they were wearing it, just because it was a part of who they were. So they imbued the power, what they perceived as the power of the sapphire, the value of the sapphire, and they took that energy and brought it to themselves. That's what it meant when you wore a sapphire. When your necklace is a sapphire. That's what it means. How do I make the connection between that? So what we're going to do, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you a different symbol of what that means to people when people see this symbol. the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. And what I'm going to do right now, I have the honor and privilege of bringing on people who are my brother, my sisters, United States Marines. So we'll see you on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers from all over the world, I have the honor of introducing you to Staff Sergeant Homer Stevenson and Corporal Sonia Elbow Timmons. Elbow Timmons, yes, I'm working on the name. Thank you so much. First of all, welcome Staff Sergeant Don Allen. Allen, he may be here today. He's actually doing what we do as Marines. You know, he's out there servicing the community, so hopefully he'll come on. But it's an honor to have both of you on today. Little bit of a background. This is so special to me because Homer and I actually went to the same high school together. We didn't know each other then. Homer said he knew me, but I was messed up that those. I didn't know anybody. Okay, we saw each other again at our 40th reunion. I was the keynote speaker and everything. We spoke briefly, but I didn't realize that Homer was a Marine. Not only was Homer a Marine, but Homer and Don and myself went to Marine Corps boot camp, Parris Island, at the same time, which meant we graduated on the same day. We became Marines on the same day. And we didn't really put that all together until just recently. So simplify, Staff Sergeant Stevenson, welcome. And then with Sonia is a wonderful award-winning speaker. She is not only just a sister of mine as far as being a Marine, but she's also a Toastmaster. So when I was putting together this show originally was called Three Marines. I was just like, what about the sisters? This little voice in my head that said, what about the sisters is out there doing the same thing? Because let me just be real honest with you, just in case you don't know, it's hard enough to be a Marine, but to be a female Marine, a WM, a woman Marine, you got to be on a whole nother level. Even Superman looks at WMs and go, dang, I wish I had your powers. So welcome. Welcome to the show. So enough about me. I want to hear from you guys. So Staff Sergeant Stevenson, go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Good morning, all. Again, like you said, Homer E. Stevenson. I did 20 years in the Marine Corps, 78 to 98. MOS was artillery. Presently, I'm retired now, and I'm actually retired now. So I'm doing some medical issues and things of that nature. But just happy to be here and happy to. Actually, I'm here through the grace of Jah, really. So thankful for that, for one above who allows me and keeps me, grounded and whatnot. And it's definitely a blessing to connect again with my brother here, Barry. And then we got this WM down here, without a doubt, Sister Sonia. Blessings to you and blessings to all. Just happy to be here.
Thank you. Sonia, Corporal Sonia. Tell us your story. I want to hear. See, because most people don't understand about women in the Marine Corps. So tell us about you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Corporal Sonia Ebel-Timmons, and I am definitely a Marine. I served during a Desert Storm. My MOS was 5831, which is a brig guard, and the civilian world is a corrections specialist. That was my job. I currently work with the Department of Veteran Affairs and one of the VA hospitals in mental health, still serving, helping my fellow Marine brothers and sisters, as well as all the other different branches. So I am still serving, and I'm happy to be here this morning.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, what I want to say again, I'm just going to ask the questions, but I want the audience to hear, because I didn't brief them. I didn't kind of coach them. I want you to hear what this means to be a Marine. That those commercials that you see, you're going to hear that story, that sound coming out of our two Marines. So, Sonia, let's start with you. Since you're a junior Marine, okay, right? Right, Staff Sergeant, she's a junior Marine, so we're gonna take care of it. I was a sergeant, so Sonia's junior today, but she's not. We know who she is. So, Sonia, tell us, why did you join the Marine Corps?
Why did I join the Marine Corps? Well, that's easy. At the best uniforms out there. No, actually, them dress blues was out of sight. No, actually, I actually joined the Marine Corps because I was a family of 9 children. My mother was widowed, and she was already working hard to get my other siblings through college. I was the baby, and so instead of putting that pressure on my mom, I said, I'm going to the military to get that GI Bill money. However, when I went to the recruiting station, I actually was going to see the Army specialist. They looked unsat. Went to the Navy. They wasn't even in the building. And I turned around, and there was Staff Sergeant Frankie Murchison standing in his dress blues. And I said, that's where I'm going. And I actually shipped out open contract.
I'm sorry, your screen froze for a second.
Contract. So I went in.
When did you join? Go ahead. Oh, you're frozen again. You're frozen again. All right, she'll come back. She'll come back. Oh, Sheila. All right, cool. No problem. Well, she'll come back. She'll come back. So, Staff Sergeant Homer, tell us, when did you, well, we know when you joined, 1978, but tell us, why did you join the Marine Corps? Sonia, we're going to come right back to you. We're going to come right back to you.
Gotcha.
Staff Sergeant Homer, go ahead and finish. Tell us, why did you join the Marine Corps?
I did join for the uniform. I did join for the uniform. You saw the commercials. And matter of fact, I know my mama, she wanted me to go into anything but the Marine Corps after she heard it. But I actually, same thing like what Sister Sonia did. I went to the recruiting station right there in Jamaica Avenue, the one that was down there in Jamaica Avenue and whatnot. And I went and spoke to the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. But when I went inside there, instead of them engaging me in conversation, they asking me. I don't know anything about it, but they weren't forthcoming with telling me what to expect and things of that nature. So I went right back to the Marine Corps because really that's where my heart was anyway. And here I am 43 years later. And also along with that, my recruiter, Gunnery Sergeant Roberts, and my senior drill instructor, Staff Sergeant McAvoy, how about they work together they were comment together. I didn't find it out one day. I'm there inside the house because I was a scribe, and I see the picture sitting on my senior's desk with a picture of my recruiter, the two of them together. And I said, so I request permission to speak, speak private. Yes, sir. Sir, that's a private recruiter. What? Yeah, so I had to write him and whatnot. But yes, regardless of how it went, what happened as you transcended going through the years, it was about taking care of those Marines. So it became more than, yes, we went in. Yeah, the reason why I came in, but what it evolved into was even bigger than why I came in, which is really the essence of why we are able to make it and why we are even this morning. So really, it evolved into something bigger as I went on in my 20 years.
Thank you for that. Corporal Sonia, see, because we are all Marines, we know that we have similar stories. So, Corporal Sonia, just go right on into that. Continue. Why you said why you joined, as far as just get some of that GI Bill money, but what did you tell us? What was it like as a woman to go to Paris Island? Those of you who don't know, viewers, there's two boot camps for the Marine Corps. There is Paris Island, and then there's San Diego. Okay, so speaking of which, where are you from, Sonia? Because you went, well, actually, you're a woman, so you automatically went to Paris Island. Those of us, Homer and I and Don, we're East Coast Marines, so we went to Paris Island. People from Chicago normally go to San Diego, but Paris Island, how can I describe Paris Island? Let's see, like hell, like the like the place God forgot. That's Paris Island. So tell us, Sonia, what did it feel like to be a woman going to the Mecca of the United States Marine Corps? Go ahead, tell us that experience. Oh man, okay, there you go.
No, I'm here. However, you're right, it was hell. However, being in Paris Island was almost like a desert experience. And when I say desert experience, I mean people think you're not growing. And boot camp is where I learned just how strong I was as a person. Mm-hmm. I got those skills and that character that the Marine Corps builds, that resilience, that no retreat, no surrender, that I still carry with me till this day in everything that I do. It was the Marine Corps mottos, the cadence that I could call in my head at each stage of my life when I went through things that kept me moving forward in the right direction. So though it was hell, a very much growing experience. When I went in thinking I knew everything, thinking I knew more than what mama knew and everything. But when I got there, I remember actually penning about a week or two in. I penned a letter. As I was writing, I was crying, saying, now I understand, mama, what you was trying to tell me. And I was stuck. It was many days I was on Paris Island that I was thinking, I got to find a way out of here. But I'm on the island and I couldn't even swim.
Preach!
And I couldn't swim.
Preach!
The other thing that kept me was the fact that nobody back home thought I could make it through Marine Corps boot camp. And it was that resolve that said, tell me I can't do it, and I'll show you somebody who will. And I was so excited when they came and saw me get my chevrons pinned on at graduation and get the title Marines. And once a Marine, y'all know we always Marine. Right. So that's me.
Wow. See, what people don't understand is, like I said, a sapphire. This is a sapphire. This is what it looks like without any I'm sorry. This is what it looks like without any color. This is what it looks like when you find it. So all this has to happen before it becomes this. And now I have an extra surprise for you guys. Ready? Staff Sergeant Homer was the guy who created the hell. Not only did he experience the hell, but Staff Sergeant Homer Stevenson was a Marine Corps drill instructor. Oh my God. So when he told me that, I felt like I was in my garage. I was like, yes, sir. Sorry. So Staff Sergeant Homer, tell us, why did you why did you inspire so many Marines? What made you want to become a drill instructor in the United States Marine Corps?
At the time, I had like about 3 years in the Marine Corps, and I knew I wanted to stay, but I wanted I wanted something different at that time, and the only thing that really caught my consciousness of what I want to do was to become a drill instructor. So I went ahead and I pursued that. I was blessed to be able to make it through DI school, though I suffered an injury in DI school. So I had to, the class I was in, I had to wait for the next one and to graduate. But nevertheless, matter of fact, I remember I hit the street on 11 August 1982, which was 4 days prior to me having 4 years in the Marine Corps, and the camaraderie there was rather is rather was different, excellent. As far as some of those general instructors that I served with from back in '82, we are still friends to this day. You know, we're still friends, and we were from first battalion, because when you go into the art school, you never know what battalion. So we got people from first, second, third, and also from what it was WRTC when I was there in '82, which I think it transitioned into be now today being called, I think, fourth battalion. But yeah, but when you're there, you really feel responsible for the young men that you are training. So even though you may be hitting them with a little rough type things, but also even more importantly, it's about trying to prepare them to the best of your knowledge for what they're going to experience when they actually go in the Fleet Marine Force. Because boot camp is one thing, but the Fleet Marine Force is something else. And there are individuals really who you can make it into boot camp, because the boot camp is a lot more, it's structured. Boot camp is structured. So they don't get in any trouble while they're in that structure. But when they go in the FMF now, it's a different story, because while you in your formations, you have workplace, that's a structure. But you just be mindful that once you get off at 4:30, or what time you get off, and you go out there in the civilian populace and you mix them, about not going too far to the left to cause yourself to fall off of the cliff. And unfortunately, there were some Marines, young, middle-aged, and old, who actually were not able to hold on. But as a drill instructor, as a hack, you try your best to prepare them and whatnot. And I was able to see one or two of my recruits in the fleet, and I'm even friends with a couple of them on Facebook right now, and also on Facebook with friends with one of my drill instructors and whatnot. So it's a never-ending circle, but it's a good circle. You know, it's a good circle. Yes.
And that's what I'm laughing, because what he told you in a very nice way, it basically the politically correct way is, oh, you know, I'm just training the students. So it's kind of like the way people look at a gemstone, and they look at a sapphire and go, oh, that's so pretty. That's so nice. You don't understand what it looked like before, okay? You don't understand what it had to go through, the process that it had to take in order to become that beautiful sapphire you saw. So even though Staff Sergeant Homer is saying it in just such a nice way, you know, I just, like, he made it sound like Sonia and I are sitting there like, what? This is the same. And he's Staff Sergeant Homer is a man of God. So now he's like, well, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to sit around and talk. No, Staff Sergeant Homer, even though I didn't serve, I know he's a Marine. So he's just like, what are you doing, Marine? Ah! And the Marine was like, oh, my God. So that's him. That's that guy right there. Don't let him. The same thing with Sonia. Sonia she's all nice and calm and cool, and yet Sonia knows how. What was your rifle range score? Did you fire M16 A1? No, actually, you probably fired what weapon did you use? Expert marksman means that you can. I'm sorry. You know what? Let me not say it. Staff Sergeant Homer, what's the rifle range? What's the yardage that you have to fire at?
We start from the 50-yard line all the way to the 300-yard line at the time.
Yeah. 300-yard line. And what does it mean to be an expert marksman in the United States Marine Corps, Staff Sergeant Homer?
Actually, it means that individual, from who knows, it varies from different distances. Even if it's a penny down there, he can hit it. He or she can hit that. And
hit a penny.
You
Hit
know.
a penny from 300 yards. And guys, if you ever gone to the bathroom, you see how stuff is all over the floor. You're like, how did we ever win a war? Like the urinal right there, that kind of thing. So let me ask you. So let's move on. I'm looking at time. So what did the Marine Corps do for you in your life? What the things that you learn, and as I tell my viewers, the most important part of any story is the antagonist, the obstacle that you had to overcome in your story. So let's go another way. Stats on the Homer. Tell us what was. Well, just give us one obstacle that the Marine Corps and the training that you got from the Marine Corps helped you overcome.
Okay, and this one is a tourism, but by the same token, different people, receive it different ways. And matter of fact, I even had one of the Marines who stated that he didn't see this in me. But what I'm talking about is the racism in the Marine Corps that I experienced,
Mm,
the
mm,
racism. And
mm,
before I even go into that detail, let me just quickly with this. Some years back, I commented on something, told a Marine about an experience I had in '93 at TBS, the basic school, in regards
mm-hmm,
to an Army captain and a Marine Corps captain. The Army captain worked at the Pentagon, and the Marine Corps captain was the instructor over IOC, which is the infantry officers course right there in TBS. When I relayed that to them about how they viewed us, because see, they didn't see us as being human. They were referring to us with just the N word. Uh,
mm,
when I stated that to that Marine about that experience, he said to me that he didn't see that in me. Well, I said, well, we were leaders of Marines.
mm-hmm,
The racism and all that, it wasn't being done to you. And as leaders of Marines, what we did to keep ourselves strong and stay grounded was we talked to our fellow Marines that was black and even Spanish who were experiencing the same things and wanted to, and some that were white, to be quite frank. And we
mm-hmm,
spoke to each other, and that's how we stayed grounded. We never at any time conveyed that kind of attitude or anything like that to our Marines, be they white, black, nothing. Because the thing is this here, again, like I said, it's the whole concept and what you find in miracle is bigger than just the individual. It's
mm,
about the whole. What is the mission? What are you here for? And you are here as NCOs, staff NCOs, even officers. We are there to take care of our Marines because
mm,
my corporal can attest to the fact, and you can. We was in charge of people from our Lance Corporal, and I joined at 18, and even that I'm a Lance Corporal at 18. You're in charge of people, and what happened? What that means is that what you need to do for yourself is completely so far to the left, even on the record scale. Because why? It's only about taking care of your Marines. That
mm-hmm,
is what, as a leader, that is what you're expected to do
mm-hmm,
without any excuses, regardless.
mm,
And I say this too. One thing and I'm sure you probably, one thing I definitely learned is this, because at the time, majority of my time was spent in the combat arms and artillery.
mm-hmm,
If a Marine is having a bad day, matter of fact, now I'm gonna go to this. I may be that Marine may have teed me off, and I'm chewing him up and down, inside out. But he stop and say, "Hey, boss, this," and it's a serious matter. I stop. I take
mm-hmm,
care of that issue because why? I don't. You don't want them to where they're out there in the field and they have all this negative thing going because people can die when we out there. So
mm,
first you have to address the real issues that Marine having because we all know we can come back and yell at them anytime we want to,
mm-hmm,
but you only have a certain time frame to take care of the major issues, and that
mm-hmm,
comes first. So as
mm-hmm,
a leader, you have to be cognizant of that and understand that yes, you can yell, but our mission is to first take it. Well, you got the mission first, the welfare of the troops, and then yourself.
mm-hmm,
It's all the mission. But the things that if you do not take care of the welfare of your Marines, that mission will never get accomplished. So
And
that's
that,
you know,
and that, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for the honesty, because what people, and we all on Facebook and everything else, and a lot of people, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, about what happened in Afghanistan. And, you see people on Facebook upset about, what President Biden did and the withdrawal and everything else. And they were upset with me because it's not, did I think it happened well? Do I mourn for the Marines that we lost, or the 13, the other Navy and the Army personnel? Of course I do. But what people don't understand is when you serve this, when you have this on your shoulder, you don't get to ask questions. As Staff Sergeant Homer said, it's not about questions. I never thought, you never say, oh, that's a Republican Marine, or that's a Democrat Marine, or that's an independent Marine. I had a Marine in my barracks who literally had a KKK magazine on his desk, like just with the hoods and stuff, like it was like, I don't know, Sports Illustrated. And I'm walking in his office, and he looked at me, and he was just like, Mixon, I used to fly with this guy. He was like, you know what, Mixon, you all right for the N-word. And because I knew that if I was in an LZ, a combat zone, and I was sharing a fighting hole with him, he would not see me as the N-word or a black. He would see me as in fact, here's the quiz. Corporal Sonia, what are the two colors of Marines in the Marine Corps? What's the only two colors? Come on.
Green, blue.
Nah. Staff Sergeant Homer, what's the two colors of people in the Marine Corps?
Oh, people.
Second.
The two colors of the people in the Marine Corps. There's only two colors you are in the Marine Corps. What's the two colors?
Actually, you just all we all green, really.
We all green. Okay. I was told in fact, I got in trouble for this during the Iranian hostage crisis. Remember when the Ayatollah said all the black people and the women can go? I was in the ready room. I was still stupid. And I was in the ready room. I was like, crisis over. Black people would go. This colonel came up to me and like literally ripped my head off. He was like, Marine, there's only two colors in the Marine Corps. You're either light green or dark green Marine.
Right. Okay, light or dark. Okay.
So we don't get a choice of what we serve. So back to what we're saying. So we were talking about the Afghanistan thing, or at least Station Home was talking about. So what obstacle did the Marine Corps, did the training that you got from the Marine Corps, what obstacle did it help you overcome in your life? Corporal Sonia.
Obstacles. You're talking about obstacles. There were many obstacles, but I want to first say thank you for mentioning the racism. Even I'm much younger than you are, but and then on top of it, being a female in the Marine Corps was another obstacle. I'm one of those Marines who actually almost fell off the cliff. And when I got home, there was a lot that I had to go through. Mentally, I was all over the place. And so, which led to homelessness, just a whole plethora of obstacles that I had to cover. And when I first came home, I came to VA, and they really didn't have services for women. And that was in 93. And so I was just out there for 17 years. And the thing with dealing with mental health issues is that when you have a family, there's the secondary to see some things in my children. And that said to me, okay, you got to do something so you can save your kids. And I came back to the VA and I started receiving mental health services. And it was, again, those Marine Corps values. I would constantly tell myself, if you could make it through the Marine Corps, right? You went through boot camp, you did your 4 years. If you could survive, you could survive anything. So in those moments when I didn't feel like I wanted to be here, it was that you can do this. It was the pick them up and set them down, march from the waist down, that I kept regurgitating in my head over and over again, that helped me, no retreat, no surrender, and helped me keep going until I reached a point where I can say I recovered, and still recovering. And then I took my story, those 17 years on top of the 4 years of hell, and came back and I said, I want to serve my fellow brothers and sisters, and I want to make sure that none of them went through, or, their hell don't last as mine did. And so that's why I do the job that I do now.
Wow. Wow. See, this is why I'm excited. You said the word stories. So let's take this now. See, because what I want people, and I know we only got a few minutes, I want people to understand that even though we've all gone through our all trials and tribulations, injuries, mental health, physical health, when 9/11 happened, real quick, where were you when 9/11 happened, and how did you feel about it as a Marine? Let's start. Corporal Sonia, you go first.
When 9/11 happened, I was on my way to work and I heard, and I called off and I went back home, and I remember being plastered to the TV. And it was this resolve in me that said, we cannot let this go unpunished. And I knew then that it was inevitable that we had to go and do what we needed to do. The military as a whole, but we know the Marines always go in first. And so there was the solemnness, but at the same time, there was this strength that built up in me, knowing that we had trained, and that the Marine Corps was going to do, as well as the other branches, was going to go and do what they needed to do. And then there was this sadness because not only did we lose a lot of people that day, but we also saw a community of people that came together as a family. And I saw, when that happened, I actually saw the loyalty, the camaraderie that I so missed from being in the Marine Corps. And so that's what 9/11 did for me. It was, again, a very emotional roller coaster, I'll say. But there was some good and bad that I saw in that day.
Okay, thank you for that. And that's the thing. When people hear I tell people, we live in this age where value is not really valued; it's just a word we use. But what I tell people, and I put it on the Facebook post in introducing this show, those commercials that you see, that spirit, that energy, when the heart starts beating, you like, and it says the few, the proud, the Marines. That's what we are. I'm not talking about the Army. I'm not talking about the Navy. Not talking about the Air Force. They got their place, but we are brothers and sisters. Today, if President Biden, if President Trump had called us, because we are Marines, we going. Now, we might fuss on our head, man, this is some, okay, but we going. So, Sassar Dahoma, where were you when 9/11 happened, and how did it make you feel as a Marine?
I was actually retired at that time. Once I was back here, and initially felt a little upset in regards to it hit you about the travesty, and yes, just like Sister Sonia mentioned about, you saw the people come together, but there was also a thought though in my mind, because and even my nephew, and he's passed on, so this may tee off some people to hear this, but though it is it's another facet of what all that happened that transpired, how it happened. He went and he said to my mommy that they made it happen.
Mm.
They made it happen.
Mm.
I was trying to find an article where I read and one in regard to some things that was done as far as what possibly could have actually happened because in regards to that. Now, you already alluded to it, the fact that it doesn't make a difference whether uh, we want to go or not want to go.
Mm-hmm.
If we are called, we are going to go and we're going to, because the essence to what the Marine Corps is that Marine, and I say Marine so that way we don't differentiate between
Mm-hmm.
male and the female. It's only about that Marine to your right, to your left,
Mm-hmm.
to your front, or to your rear. Because unfortunately, what we serve, our thing is military in nature. It's
Mm-hmm.
military. It's on a military agenda. But how we get there has a lot of political connotations.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. It's not that are we there because we need to be there? Not all the time. There are times where you're there for political reasons. But
Mm-hmm.
again, you know the Marines. I was not the reason why. I was just do or die, quote
Do or
unquote.
die. That's it.
Not the
And
reason.
that's what it means. That's what
Yes.
it means. So that's why, and I get people to understand that even though the Marine Corps wasn't like a walk in the park, I can tell you
No.
all kinds of stories where, whether it be racism, whether it be just, just whatever, I was just a lowly sergeant and, being spoken to. But 43 years later, or Sonia, 17 years later, you hear it. You hear the sound, and it's note, and that's where the understanding of when you see a sapphire, it is a sapphire. It comes in different colors. It comes in different shapes. It comes in different, but we all understand that it comes from the same thing. They all are aluminum oxide. Aluminum oxide that when you put something in it, it becomes this beautiful stone. And that's what the Marine Corps is. The Marine Corps is people like Staff Sergeant Homer took people like myself, like Sonia, who might have been going through all kinds of stuff. You guys, my viewers, know that, my mom was interesting, but so in the book that's going to come out, I put in there the Marine Corps was the mother I knew, meaning the abuse and the harsh language and all this stuff, but it was also the father that I longed for. Because I knew, even though Staff Sergeant Homer, if he was my drill instructor, I probably would have hated him, but I knew he was trying to build me up into something. He was trying to make me into this sapphire, into this United States Marine that 43 years later, 17 years later, we all feel. So, but as my executive producers let me know, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this different level. 9/11 is happening. There's going to be a great show on tonight, MSNBC, talking about voices from 9/11. I invite you. I definitely invite you to look at that. Again, take a moment this Saturday to think about where you were, how much have changed in 20 years. And again, my name is Barry. So I just want to thank Staff Sergeant Homer Stevenson for being here. I want to thank you so much, Corporal Sonia Elbow Timmons, yes, thank you for being here. Simplify to both of you. You have shown the viewers all over the world what it means, just a taste of what it means to be a United States Marine. So, ladies and gentlemen, simplify. Homer, you want to say something real quick? Because I'm getting, you want to say something real quick?
Yes, I tell you, when the question about you, what have we gotten out of being a Marine and so forth? One of the biggest thing I've gotten was this: to see the Marines that you trained, and when they're coming up to you years later and they're thanking you for, hey, you did this, you did this. I may not have, I retired as staff sergeant, but you push them to go higher than because that's what you want. You want your legacy. You always want the ones come behind you to go above you. So when you see that, it's like, okay, that's why I put up with this. That's why I put up. But hey, it made them better, but they appreciate you for that. And that's what you get of it, is the appreciation of it. Just like Sonia, just like we for a job well done and taking care of your Marines. That's the
And we're going to leave it. And we're going to leave it there, because what he basically said is what I end every show with. My name is Barry B. Mixon. I am a gemological storyteller. And take time in your day, in your week, to discover the value of your story. That's what Staff Sergeant Homer just said. That's what Corporal Sonia is saying. Thank you so much, guys. See you next week. Au revoir. Thank you for being a part of this.